What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Kingdom Housing Podcast. We are live with a special guest from Jacksonville, Florida, Miss Tina, who's not only a real estate investor, but also an operator for independent living homes or unlicensed group homes. So very excited, very honored to learn more about her story and sit down and see what she's been up to.
You can run your house however you want, but I strongly advise cameras in the shared areas. Definitely control your codes. I switched out to fingerprint locks on the front and back doors, on the room doors. That saved me a lot of heartache, and I was able to gain control of what's going on in the house, who's coming in and out. You don't want to have the wrong people coming in and out and they just running amok and doing weird stuff in there. I just feel like this renting houses in this fashion is just different. You're opening up yourself to a whole different world of, I would like to say, maybe service. I found out that it is extremely important to do random drug tests because a lot of them sometimes they backslide, and it literally takes one person to just ruin the entire house.
So what's going on, Tina? Welcome in.
Hey, hi everyone. Nothing, just chilling here.
All right. What would you say is the biggest mistake you made in your first housing deal, and what would you do differently looking back?
So when it comes to like my first independent living halfway house situation, I would say my first mistake, maybe being a little bit too trusting. Not having cameras, just like my method of controls over the household. Cameras, codes for the doors, just being able to control who's coming in and out and exactly what they're doing and stuff like that. So I learned that the hallway. They were doing all types of stuff. I was getting all types of calls, and I'm like, they're adults, they're fine, right? They're paying their
Yep.
rent. It's cool. No, you have to police them a little bit. Not be like overbearing, but like you can run your house however you want. But I strongly advise cameras in the shared areas. Definitely control your codes. I switched out to fingerprint locks on the front and back doors, on the room doors. That saved me a lot of heartache, and I was able to gain control of what's going on in the house, who's coming in and out. You don't want to have the wrong people coming in and out and they just running amok and doing weird stuff in there.
Definitely. So yeah, you got some control in your house. So that's awesome. When would you say is a moment where you like seriously question if this business model was going to work out for you or not?
I just feel like this renting houses in this fashion, it's just different. You're opening up yourself to a whole different world of, I would like to say, maybe service. So I was already an investor before I started doing the buy the room, buy the bed method, but it requires a lot more. You run out a whole house, to one person or a family. You set it and forget it. It's less to manage, but when you're running out a house per room per bed, it's a lot more moving parts. There's a lot more people you are dealing with. I found out that it is extremely important to do random drug tests because a lot of them sometimes they backslide, and it literally takes one person to just ruin the entire house. Like I said, I trusted them. They're adults. They were going through their programs. I was holding them accountable through their programs, but I did not have like an extra additional layer. So once I added like the random drug test on top of that, it was like an extra layer of accountability that I needed, because one time someone pretty much backslid back into doing drugs, and no one is perfect, and sometimes it takes a lot of different times for them to like really completely come out of it. And I know that because I'm aware of the population that I serve. But me finding out about him backsliding and pretty much, I don't want to say he ruined the whole house, but like all it takes is, like I said, that one bad
One
apple, and
person.
then the whole house is in a frenzy. So once I added that additional layer of accountability, I was able to like control more of what was going on. So that's when I was like, yeah. And I feel like they amaze you every day because you add new rules every time something weird happens.
You
So
learn and
yeah.
grow. Yeah, learn and
Yes.
grow through it for sure. I know for on my end, it was housing individuals that had schizophrenia. So
Mm.
I can individuals with bipolar or depression that are on their medication workout, but started to get into more higher levels of the mental health side of things, and schizophrenia was one of them, to where it was like you said, that one bad apple can really mess up the flow of your entire home. So that was my moment, and yours is spot on as well. What would you say, or not would you say, where are you right now in your kind of investing journey? You mentioned that you had traditional rentals. I don't know if you still have them, and then you now have the independent living homes as well. Which one's more profitable? Which one do you enjoy more?
At the independent living homes, absolutely, because you're renting to several individuals in one house. Vice when you're renting out a house traditionally, you're renting to one
Yep,
person. You know what I'm saying? And renting out to several individuals in one house provides kind of a safety net, because let's say vacancies don't hit the same. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like, okay, I have one free bed or I have one free room. Everyone else
yep,
is still paying. Vice
yep.
my traditional rent, my traditional houses is like, okay, a vacancy is, I'm carrying, the
Your
mortgage.
whole,
I'm
yep, everything's gone.
correct. So it's more of, I'm trying to like, I don't need no gaps. I need someone in there, one after the other. Definitely hits different.
Yep, got you. Okay. Well, you said it's different on the enjoyable side of things. So let's dive into that a little bit. Do you find that, well, with the traditional rentals you only have, like one person or maybe a family that you're working with. So on the independent side, it's more people, more personalities, more people maybe reaching out. So is that where you were kind of going on that side?
Yeah. So I think when it comes to the independent side, I would say it's more fulfilling. You know what I'm saying? Because one, homelessness is a growing issue.
For sure.
And to be able to provide a service that solves a problem, it's like more fulfilling for me. It's like, anyone, I'm not gonna downplay running a whole entire house. Yeah, you can do that, but I feel like I'm more helpful to the community when I do, the room sharing and stuff like that. Because a lot of people, especially now, everything going up sky high, they can't afford, to rent the whole house from me.
Yep.
And I'm offering a service that's really needed, and it's growing right now. A growing need for it.
1,000%. I couldn't agree more. What does your portfolio look like right now? How many independent living homes do you have? How many traditional rentals do you have? And are they all in the same area?
Yeah, so currently all my houses are in Jacksonville, Florida. I have four traditional rentals. Currently I have one independent living
Nice.
facilities. I had two, but I turned it over because I wanted to do something different and try out a different area. And then I have one new construction project that I just got into.
I think I
So
saw a post about that. That's exciting. That's awesome.
that's
Congratulations.
something new that I'm doing. Thank you.
Yeah, you're turning into a developer on the development side of
I'm
things. So
trying.
that's
I'm
awesome.
trying. There's so many facets and faces of real estate, so I figured let's see what this is about. Let's see if I like
Hmm.
this more. I mean, I don't know.
Definitely. And your five locations right now, with a mix of traditional and independent, do you own those, or do you rent those out and have landlord partners?
I own all of my properties.
Nice, nice. I like it. So when you're, evaluating a property, how do you determine if it's going to be a, independent living home or a traditional rental or, a different business venture that you'd want to get into?
Oh, okay. That's a loaded question as well. I guess it just depends on, because Jacksonville is like one of the biggest cities land mass wise. So I guess I just evaluate one, the deal, the overhead of the deal, and what would make the most sense in this area for this specific house. I do want to add an additional mixture of doing the rental thing, because I'm learning that that can be a way to go, and I think that's going to be my next move when it comes to the independent living thing. And so what I'm doing now is more or less compiling a list of like need. So when I'm
Hmm.
reaching out to the local agencies, I'm like, okay, so like, what is there need for? Is there a need for more women houses? Is there a
Hmm.
need for men houses? Is there a need for more mental health friendly homes? You know what I'm saying? I
Hmm.
don't want to add to saturation. If there's a million male houses and only two places women can go, like that's the way I am going to lean. And honestly,
For
I think
sure.
that's probably the way I'm going to lean as
For
of right
sure.
now.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Is your current home that you have, is it a men's location, women's
It,
location, or are you co-ed?
it's a men's location. I haven't really gotten to the co-ed thing.
None of my homes are co-ed. I have seen some people work with the co-ed business. Like we have someone in San Diego in the community. They do co-ed. but it's with seniors. So I've
Mm.
seen that work with the younger crowd. I don't know if co-ed would work, but I've seen other organizations do it. So if you end up doing it, let me know how it goes because you're not too far from
I
it.
will. I will. I like to try things. So maybe I do a little experiment
There we
to
go.
see how to see because maybe it doesn't work for some people. Maybe I can make it work. I don't know,
Mm-hmm.
but you
Mm-hmm.
don't know till you try.
That thousand percent. I like it. So you started off with your traditional rentals, right?
Hmm.
What made you then decide, hey, let's try out this independent living home. Let's start housing the homeless.
It's actually a really funny. It's a really funny story. So one, me being in the military, I did like 9 years active duty. I am used to the whole room sharing. You move someplace, you're young, the military gives you BAH, you rent a house, and then you rent out the rooms to your friends, or y'all all just share. Because a lot of times it makes no sense for you to even have a house to yourself because you're in and out on the ship, you're in and out on deployment. You know what I'm saying? So
Mm-hmm.
the room sharing thing was not a new thing for me. So I had my traditional rentals and I was looking for an additional rental, just looking for any type of deal to try to figure out how to make it work.
Mm-hmm.
I followed this local investor page on Facebook and this guy posted this home and he was like, "Oh yeah, well I'm trying to sell this home right now. Right now I have it as a halfway house. You don't have to keep it that way." And then he put like the numbers, how much he was renting it out, how he managed it, how he had a on-site manager, and I'm just like, like this is great. So at first when I contacted him, it wasn't even to buy his house. It was more to get more insight. Okay, so how are you doing this? Like this house
Mm-hmm.
is not that big. Like explain to me the management part. Explain to me like where you get your clients. Like it was really just like an informational purposes because at the time I felt like it was a little bit overpriced.
Got
But
it.
so I spoke to him and I'm like, oh, okay, you work with this organ. Oh, okay. So then I started, that's when I went on a little rabbit hole about everything. And then, I gave him my price. He didn't really like it that much. And then I low key, like, I started off trying to go off in that direction with maybe I can take a house and convert it from being traditional to that.
Mm-hmm.
And then right in the midst of that, he like hit me up. So I guess he didn't get the numbers that he wanted from the house. And he was like, "Oh, hey, you remember me?" And I'm like, "Oh, hey." He said, "Oh, I've been trying to sell this house. I can't sell it. If you give me a offer on it, like I'll give it to you because I think you're the perfect person because you want to keep the house how it is. Because I told him I'll keep it the same way. I didn't see a reason to change it. To me, it was like a franchise. Like it's
Right.
already up and running. I just gotta
Yeah.
come in here, fix a few things, cosmetically, and then, what I'm saying. I have a business. It was to me, it was perfect.
That's awesome.
So, I went. I did a walkthrough. I presented my offer. He liked it. I bought the house. But that's legitimately how I got into it. I just.
That's amazing. That's amazing. That's awesome. So how did the individuals that were there, I guess receive you as the new landlord, new operator? Was there any challenges there of you kind of taking over the property, or was it pretty smooth sailing?
For the most part, it was smooth sailing. It was everything that he said. I mean, obviously, I had to learn. Because I bought it from him, I was able to lean on him a lot with the questions I had once I took it over. And
Nice.
even like the organizations that he was working with, he literally, like, we had meetings with the people. Hey, this is Tina. From now, she's buying the house. From now on, you're going to deal with her. So, I feel like he helped me. We call it airspeed today. He airspeed the whole thing, and then next thing you know, I'm on a group home. So
You said air speeding?
airspeed, just like make things quick. Like you
I've
know,
never heard of that, but I like that term a lot.
yes, airspeed.
Yeah. He helped expedite your process so that you
Pretty
didn't have to
much.
do any of the guesswork.
Right. And then like even anytime I had an issue, like in the first few months, I was able to like text him like, hey, like what should I do about this? And he was like, oh, don't worry, just do this. Oh, I'll call this person. Like I said, I bought a franchise
Yep.
off Facebook, which is weird, but that's legitimately how I got into that.
No, I love it. I'd love to get into that a little bit more too, because one of the things I know people, get caught up on is when they come to me, they're looking for all right, do I do the leasing route to get started? Do I go and purchase? And I always recommend people, real estate investing is a different ball game. Like it's a business in itself, and then the independent living home is a business in itself as well. So I'm like, hey, if you have real estate investing experience, go ahead, purchase. If not, I recommend leasing first. But it seems like you've done a really good job at maybe doing creative financing, finding good deals, to get your real estate portfolio up to where it is right now, which is fantastic. What are kind of some strategies or things that you've really found that work for you when it comes to finding a deal, one, and then being able to finance it creatively?
So the biggest thing I tell people who want to get into real estate, period, is like you have to put yourself in the room. Like literally, like I started with like reading books,
Hmm.
join Facebook pages, and then I would literally Google real estate meetups because something I heard on like a podcast like this to was Real Estate Rookie. Oh, I found this person, I got into this, by going to a meetup. And that's legitimately what I did. I Googled real estate meetup Jacksonville, and I would like go to these meetings, introduce myself, sit there, listen to other people, and then one day I sat next to somebody. It was like, "Oh, what you doing?" I'm like, I don't really do much, and they were like, "Oh, well, I mean, I can help you." Like they have people who, they are already accomplished in this realm. They have a million houses, or they have a million trailers. You know what I'm saying? And like they get enjoyment with just mentoring you. Like, oh, I remember when I first started, and like let me help you. So that's when I got into the whole creative financing and stuff like that. Literally just leaning on the mentors and the people that I have met along the way in my journey,
Hmm.
and just sit yourself in the room. Honestly, like that, you're not gonna. Someone's not gonna knock on your door. Hey, you want to do real estate with me? Because I mean, I think I read something on your page one day when you said I guess you did some research and you found out that you wouldn't do this, and you reached out to one of your closest friends. Hey, go half with me on this, and it was like, yeah, I don't know. Like I
Hmm.
was running into that too. Like I would ask, my family, my friends, hey guys, look what I found. This is gonna be great, and they're like, ah,
Right.
you know, and there's nothing wrong with that. You can't fault people from not investing is risky, it's scary, it's not something that I was never in that circle. You know what I'm saying? So it's
Yep.
not like it's a familiar, it's not a normal, thing to somebody. So to come to
Hmm.
somebody who's not even on that right now and like, oh, spend all this money to do this business I never heard of, it's a little different. But like I said, if you do the work, put yourself in the room with these people, surround yourself with people, like-minded people who do this stuff every day, like
Yep.
it just does wonders for you, in
I
my
love it.
opinion.
It's beautiful. Well said. All right, so get in the room. That's the biggest thing. So if you're listening to this, you're interested in real estate, find a real estate meetup in your area and get in the room. Start shaking hands, connecting with people. Can you tell us a little bit about your first deal that you worked? And before you do that, I said creative financing. You said creative financing. Just in case there's anyone here who doesn't know what creative financing is, can you also describe that a little bit about what that means?
So there's more than one way to buy a house, and I'm not really good at explaining certain aspects, but like there's mortgage takeovers, there's something called like subject to, or
Mhm.
there's some people that own houses straight out. Like let's say I have this house and I have no loan on it, and I want to sell it to this person, but I don't
Mhm.
want to use banks. Like, how about you buy this house for me? You give me, I don't know, $10,000, and you pay me $1,000 a month for the next 30 years until the house is paid off. Like, that's the deal you do with me. We document that. With the lawyers, you send it to the I deed it over to you, and you're paying me like you're paying the bank. So
Right.
that's why I say creative finance. Because at that point, you can control your payments, you can negotiate the interest. You know what I'm saying? Like it's a little bit different, and it's a way to circumvent a lot of the barriers we have today, like 9% interest rate, 7% interest rate. A lot of stuff that will really kill the deal because
Right.
it's kind of hard to make a profit when property insurance is so high, your mortgage is too high. You don't want to get into the business if you can't even cover certain things. And then especially if you're doing the room share thing, you have to make sure, like, actually just period, if you're doing renting, you have to make sure that your bills are going to be covering the bill, and it just makes sense. Like, why am I renting a house to you? for $1,500 if our mortgage is $2,000. And it's not about making money per se, but it's like I'm paying your bills.
Right.
I'm paying so you can stay in this house, just to say
Right.
that I own it. It's all
Right.
about numbers and stuff. To walk you through my first deal, I'll walk you through my first halfway house. So he came back and he asked me to make an offer. My offer, I forgot what my initial offer was, but he decided to let me. He accepted my offer of 102,000. I was like, okay, cool, great, 102,000, because the house needed a roof, some electrical, just little minor stuff. I would say maybe $25,000-$30,000 worth
Mhm.
of work. So in order to close the house, I met a private money lender that I met from one of my meetups and stuff. He's really cool. He kind of helped walk me through the process. So he lent me. I want to make sure I
So
got the
you
math
you
together.
and you don't have to give the exact numbers, but so you met the private money lender at a real estate meetup.
Mm-hmm.
Got to get in the room. Okay.
Get in the
Get in
room. And then
the
when I say he does some cool stuff too, because I mean he does private money lending and he owns several Airbnbs. He owns pad split. Like these are multifaceted people who just their life is to buy houses and borrow and just I don't know. So yes, I met him at the meeting. I presented him the deal. And he was like, okay, well, this is a good deal. I'll lend on it. Let me know what you get it for. Like he even told me what to offer for it. If I were you, I will offer this. So like I said, I went chat with the dude. He agreed to give it to me for the 103. I
Mhm.
took it over to the lender. He went over everything. He even showed me how to like comp it, or like where, like how he does his values and how he determines how much he was gonna lend on it. Boom. He lent me the money. He wired that money to the closing table. The additional money came from a HELOC that I had against my house.
Got it.
So that's how I was able to close.
I think this part is important because a lot of people, have never gone through this experience. I've never, all of my properties that I operate out of are leases, so I've never gone through this experience either. So I'm learning from you as well as somebody listening right now. So you found a private money lender that offered, say, that said, hey, I'll, give you the 102, 103, whatever it is for this property, right?
Mm-hmm.
You also took money out of a HELOC then.
Mm-hmm.
So do they give a certain amount of percentage and then you need to come up with the rest, or how does that usually work?
Yes. Oh, that's a great question. So pretty much he wants to secure his money. So after he evaluated the deal, he came back, okay, well, I'll lend 90,000. And the way he does that is he lends off of the ARV. My plan was to buy it, fix it, and then refinance.
Is that the Burr method?
Yeah, yeah. To
I like it.
the Bird method. So when I brought him the deal, he's like, okay, well, if I lend you X amount and you can find some other money somewhere else, which is the money I had in my HELOC, you do the improvements, then you refinance. Then his number was 90K. If I give you 90K, I know for a fact I'll be able to get you. I'll be able to get that back based on these numbers because. And the crazy thing is, so when I did my comps were like after I'd fixed everything, I was gonna I think the house my comp was like 135. But after I did everything, my comp was actually 152.
Wow. That's
So
awesome.
yeah. So when he's lending, that's how he does his math. He gives you whatever makes sense and he lends against the house. So he puts the lien against the house and stuff. He's not giving me, hey, 90,000. No, he's is all to the closing table, administrative stuff. It's not, hey, ma'am, I'm just gonna give you this money. That's
Right.
not how it works at all. So yeah, so for example, I fought the deal. He went over the deal. He's like, okay, well, with these numbers, I feel comfortable with giving you 90. Would you be able to find the rest? I'm like, yes, I have a HELOC. And then even with that, he even gave me resources because obviously he wants his money back. He was like, I have an electrician, I have a roofer. I'll hit them up for you, and you use them. We're gonna be great. So pretty much, I closed on the house, went to work, did everything I needed to do. Replaced the roof. The house was built in like 1930 or something like that. So like I had to rewire it or whatever.
Hmm.
And I think in all, I think I spent about like maybe 25, 26 ish thousand. Top of that to do everything, and then I got an appraisal, and the house appraised for the 152, and I was able to refinance. So when you refinance, they give you the equity of the house. So when I closed on that refinance, I was able to pay the private money lender back and pay back my HELOC, so I didn't leave any money in the deal. So now I just have a loan on the house of
Wow.
$120,000.
Okay. All right. That's amazing. I gotta go back a little bit. So you got the private money lender, secured that, pulled money out of the HELOC, secured that, got a ARV, and or no, got not got a ARV. You did your rehab to get a higher ARV than what even the private money lender was
Mm-hmm.
expecting. Um, Through your rehab process, was there any time did you have to relocate the people that were already living there, because it was already set up as a, like you said, like a franchise halfway house ready to go, right?
Mm-hmm.
So how did that process go?
Ready to go, furniture, everything. So none of the repairs that I had to do required it
Okay.
to be vacant. I had to replace the roof. You can be in the house replacing roof. And then you got to understand too also, the people in my house, they're all working people. Like literally during the day, there's nobody there until maybe 5 o'clock. So even though I had to redo the electrical and the electrical was down for a few hours, I made sure I checked with them. It was a good time to do it during the week, between the hours of such and such. So even though the electric had to be down for a little bit, they were at work. So I just pretty much did the repairs around them, and it was fine. I didn't have any issues
That's
with.
awesome. That's awesome. And sorry, on the end there, you said you did end up refinancing the deal to at
Yes.
the end. Okay.
Hmm.
So is that through a separate bank then that had to come out and refinance the deal, and then you were able to give the private money lender back their money, and then pay off your HELOC as well?
Yes, it was a separate bank, and I refinanced into
Mm,
something called a DSCR loan, debt service ratio loan, which is an investor loan. So pretty much the bank is like, hey, you want to buy this house as an investment property, and they use just the property to evaluate the loan. So the house has to be income producing and stuff like that. So pretty much they just want to know that you can pay the mortgage. If you can pay the mortgage and the math makes sense, they give it to you as an investor loan. And I got that in my LLC. So it's not based on me. They don't ask you for credit or anything like that. It's literally just a loan based on the asset, if that makes sense.
that does. Did they, when including the asset, were they able to include the rents from how the house is set up, or was it just the comps?
The rent. So I needed to show that it was already income producing, and that I was able to pay the mortgage they were giving me. So yes, all of that takes into account because it's an asset based loan.
That's awesome. That's
Mhm.
awesome. Wow. Okay. You just gave a, I'll call it $1 million worth of game right there on someone who's looking to, go out and get their first investment property, and kind of how you structured it for this deal that was even sweeter because you already had people in it. So you didn't even have to, go out and do the marketing side of things.
Mhm.
Have you, I'm assuming since you got this halfway house, there were, you've had vacancies, maybe people have left and new people have moved in.
Mhm.
How is your, I guess, relationship process grown with organizations, or a strategy that you use to, let them know when you have a vacancy, and have them send clients your way? Are you a big emailer? Do you go in person? Do you like making cold calls? What's kind of the thing that works for you?
I would say I do all of the above, but the thing that I find that works better is when you meet them in person. Meet them in person so they can put a face to you, and
Hmm.
just have a conversation. And I feel like it goes a lot farther when you ask them what they need, not just showing up saying, "Oh, this is what I have." It's like, okay, well, this is what I do. What do you need? What will work for you? Because sometimes they might tell you something, and maybe you give me an idea to buy a new house, or get a new house and structure it a different way. Like I like to focus on the actual need. How can I help you?
Makes perfect sense. And what would you say is one system or tool that you have in place, or that you use, that you're like, hey, I could not be operating this business without it?
I don't know if I want to double back on those cameras and those locks. 'Cause
So that could be it. So when the guy you purchased it from, he didn't have cameras or locks or anything. They were just
they would
freewheeling it.
just he was like, hey, I really don't have any problems and all this other type of stuff. But I have a theory of why he didn't have the problems that I was having. One, he's a man. I'm a woman that looks like a child. So
There we go.
it's that might been something. That's my theory. I could be crazy.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, I would say that. And then I guess being attentive and adding, I guess, fixing things when it comes, like, adding action. I don't want to say adding rules, but like sometimes you got to make rules you didn't even know you had to make.
There we go. There we
It's like,
go.
why do I have to tell you this is not okay? Like,
Yeah. So if I learned that everyone grew up differently is what I learned. You know, everyone had different house rules when they were growing up. So some stuff that I'm like, what? Like, that's not even common sense to me. But to someone else, it could be different. But I do want to learn about your development deal as well. So how did you find this piece of land that now you're turning in? I saw one of your videos. There was tractors out there taking down trees and stuff like that. How did you come across this deal?
weird random stuff again. Facebook. I think I another big thing to do is when you're out or you're talking to people, tell people what you do. If they're even looking for someone like you to help or something like that. So literally, I got that deal by being over my cousin's house, and my cousin friend was like, "Oh, well, I have this piece of land. I don't know what to do with it." And I'm just like, I think I went to a meeting and I heard someone saying they're looking for land in this area. Random. So I legitimately so one time I went to a meeting with those developers, and they were pretty much telling us, like, what they're doing, what their plans, the area they're trying to do this in, and like how you can partner with them to bring these deals to light and the things that they had to offer. And then I
Hmm.
went to a few different places, and I saw them there, same spill. So like I think it was like tattooed in my mind. So
Hmm.
when I was at my cousin's house and his friend was like, "Oh, I got this piece of land. I don't know what to do with it." Because I mean, what you gonna do with it? I think maybe the house was torn down months ago or something like that. It was just a vacant lot, and
Right.
you have to know what to do with stuff like that. So I guess it
Yep.
was, I don't know, something he didn't need or something that he needed to get rid of, and I was just well, tell me more. Let me see if I can figure out what to do with it. Where is it? And then he told me where it was at, and I just thought to the meeting when I was at the developers, whatever event that I was at, and they were telling me they're doing X, Y, and Z in this area. And then, so I literally just text. I said, "Hey, I know someone who has a lot in this area. Here's the address. Is this something that you can use? Does this fit into, what you're doing? Because maybe we can work something out, you know?
Hmm.
And legitimately, like,
Make some
maybe,
arrangements.
like literally piecing stuff together. And that's why my page, I say I'm a real estate transaction engineer. Because it doesn't really,
Mhm.
I wouldn't say that I just do one thing. I will find something and figure out what to do with it.
Right.
It's not really a one path thing. So if you got an issue or a problem or anything, let me figure out how I can help you out with that. So that's pretty much what that was. I hit them up. I said, "Hey, I know someone who has a lot. This is the address. Is this something that you can use, and maybe we can figure something out?" And they hit me up later. "Oh yeah, this is perfect. This is the area we're looking for. This is what we want to do. What you trying to do?" And I'm like, "I don't know. I've never did this before. If I get this, how does this work?" "Okay, well, you can take down the lot." And they pretty much explained the whole process to me, and I was like, "Okay, well, this is how this is my part of the deal. I can offer this." And then we just pretty much came together, and then next thing you know, we're getting blueprints, schematics, and "Oh, come out, we already started building." I'm just like, "Oh, okay." So pretty much I'm just like my interest is just the land and some cash or whatever, and
Yep.
they like manage the whole thing. Pretty much they evaluated it, and they already had like an archive of models they had, and they pick which model they had was the best one to go on the piece of land. They did all that type of stuff. So I'm just here like, okay,
That's awesome.
great. So
That's amazing. And again, just being in the room. So you were in the room, you heard a conversation, and as soon as your cousin said something about a piece of land, you thought back to that conversation you were having and built the relationship. You had to do something to get their number, right? So you can send a text out.
mm-hmm,
So you weren't just in the room, you were active in the room, networking, right?
mm-hmm.
And now it's gonna be in a position to, you're learning something new on the development side and get some extra cash. So like, is it going to be a property that you're operating out of for like independent living or anything like that, or is it something completely different?
It's something completely different. So
Got it.
this is something that's gonna be built and sold,
Got it.
and
Okay.
you know,
And on to the next.
just that's that.
On to the next. That's
Hmm.
really cool. I like it. So what's long-term goals? What's next for Tina? What can people be expect to see from you coming? I know you got your hands in a couple of different hats. It sounds like you like experiencing new things. Have you found a lane that you want to kind of focus on longer term, or are you still gonna keep just diving in a couple different options?
That's a very good question. I think I want to do more independent living. And like I said, I want to explore more on the rental side. But then I
Hmm.
also do want to do more creative things. And if I can mix, I guess, my creative deals with the independent living, I'll do that. So I don't
Hmm.
know. I guess it's just me continuing to just go and do whatever makes sense or whatever I find. I don't
Yep.
know if that's a good thing. I mean, I don't know, because it's like maybe it's everywhere, but I don't know. I guess I'm just gonna continue to, I don't know, run into stuff. Oh, can I do something with this?
Hmm.
I don't know,
Hmm.
because that's just the way my brain works. I honestly, I like to do different things, try different things and stuff like that. I even try Airbnb. That's how I know I don't like it, because that was just not for me.
What was the biggest thing that was, I guess, was that you'll say was different from Airbnb to the independent living setup?
I think that, and I'm not a slumlord or anything like that, but I feel like the Airbnb crowd is a lot more picky, and you're more so running off of reviews. And me personally, I don't like the fact that one bad review about something silly like, oh, the curtains didn't look like the curtains that were in the picture online. I switched the
Mm,
curtains. Like what? Or like just little stuff and just the nitpicking and how like just one nitpicky person can like trash your reviews and now your house is the poopy house
mm,
because someone didn't like something so small and minute. Now with the obviously like the long term, they can, I let people personalize the house. You can do whatever you want, just make sure you put it back how you found it. And then like with the independent living and stuff like that, like these people are facing homelessness. You know what I'm saying? So yes, I provide a clean, nice, safe place, but I'm not sitting here, you're not gonna I'm not providing, I don't know, like fancy stuff, like
hmm,
marble floor. You know what I'm saying? Things to be judged on. I'm
hmm,
so it's to me it was a little bit more. It's a lot more bearable. It's like okay, they're not as picky. You just want a clean, safe place to stay. It doesn't have to be the Taj Mahal,
hmm,
like
hmm.
being a host on the Airbnb. But I will say maybe if I was to do Airbnb again, it has to be something spectacular, like I don't know, a house off a river, like that I can charge some crazy, you
Crazy
know.
amount. Bro. Yep.
Correct. I feel like in my mind those work a little bit better.
Nice. I know you said you're in a lot of rooms, right? You're connected with yourself as an investor, but other investors in your area as well. What's kind of what give us the buzz that's going on on the real estate investor side of things? What's a housing opportunity that you're either you and your people are usually talking a lot about, or you think people are missing out on today?
Shared living. Like they got a whole new company. Well, it's not really new, but I know. Have you ever heard of Pad Split?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yep.
so a lot of the investors are getting into stuff like that because they're noticing like it legitimately is a need for affordable living, and a lot of people can't afford like not even a one bedroom apartment is too much. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So definitely shared living. It's is really the thing to do. Like I said, it's a bigger headache. It's a lot more, but like it's a need.
For sure, for
Mhm.
sure. That's awesome. Well, hey, thank you so much for taking the time to connect today. I really loved enjoying your story, and you have so many other things going on too. I know that we didn't get into, so eventually we'll have to maybe have you on again and reconnect. Heck, you're not too far from me, so maybe I'll come out there and take a look at what you got going on. But for the people listening and want to stay connected with you, where can people go to follow you and stay along of the different facets of the real estate side of things that you're into?
You can find me on Facebook, Tina Street. You can find me on TikTok, Tina, the real estate engineer.
Okay.
I forgot what my IG is. I think my IG is just T Street 94. It's really lame and bland, but yeah, that's where
Okay,
you can
no
find me.
worries. Yeah, just we'll be sure to tag them in the description below the video so people can just easily go connect with you.
Uh-huh.
But no, this was great. Thank you again for hopping in. Do you have any final words for someone who's maybe sitting on the sidelines? They're curious about either opening up an independent living home or just getting into the investor seat like yourself and getting their first deal. Any final words you'd like to share with them?
Stop sitting on the sidelines. Just do
Mm,
something. I mean, yeah, I mean, I'm a single mom. This real estate stuff was new to me. I literally learn as I go. And you can't be afraid to mess up because nobody, no matter what you do, even you get a mentor, you're still going to make mistakes, you know? And that doesn't matter. It's what you do after. So just do it. Just start, honestly.
so good. So good. All right. Tina, thank you so much. It's been awesome. Hope you have a blessed rest of your day.
Thank you.
All right. See you.